All right, so for today, I'm going to go over 4 problems with you, and then after each problem, there's one for you to practice. It's going to be a multiple choice question. So pause the video, do the question, then move on to the next. So again, I'm going to do 4, and then you're going to do 1 after each of those. Okay. So again, going back to adding and subtracting rational expressions, your big thing is having a common denominator. Just a heads up, this one's subtraction. Be careful with that. Just kind of make a mental note of that before we really get going with here. All right, but you always want to be thinking like, we got to make these denominators the same. So my first fraction, you can't factor that denominator at all. It's just x plus 4. But my second denominator here is x squared minus 16. It's a difference of squares. As far as like the factoring goes, like they're all different. So you just always got to be thinking, is this going to be a GCF problem? You're going to factor in 2 binomials. Is it just is what it is? Stuff like that. So anyway, with the first one here, my first denominator I have an x plus 4. My second one I have x plus 4 and x minus 4. So my first fraction is missing an x minus 4. So I got to multiply that first fraction by x minus 4 divided by x minus 4. I do not have to do anything to my second fraction here. It's just going to stay x plus 4 times x minus 4. So multiply this out. We got to do x times 2, negative 4 times 2. So that's going to give me 2x minus 8. And then I got the minus x squared there, all divided by x minus 4 times x plus 4. Put it all together, and we'll have negative x squared plus 2x minus 8, all divided by, we can just go back to writing this as x squared minus 16. Okay, again, x minus 4 times x plus 4 is a difference of squares, so we're going right back to that. All right, so again, when you factor into 2 binomials, when you factor the denominator into 2 binomials, you're kind of thinking along the lines of, okay, what am I missing in each denominator? And this one has an x plus 4, x minus 4. This one just has an x plus 4. So we need to give this denominator an x minus 4. So again, that common denominator is x minus 4 times x plus 4. All right. So next up then, this one we're just kind of looking for a least common multiple. My denominators are 3y and 5y squared. It's addition. So that makes things a little bit easier as far as you don't got to distribute a negative. But again, the first thing you're looking at is those denominators. So your common denominator, remember that's also your least common multiple, or LCM. So your LCM of 3y and 5y squared, least common multiple of 3 and 5 is 15. Y and y squared, your least common multiple is y squared. So that is my denominator. So I need to turn 3y into 15y squared. So I got to do 3 times 5 to get 15, and I got to get another y here, so I'm going to multiply my first fraction by 5y over 5y. Remember, we're not changing the value of this, we're just multiplying it by 5y divided by 5y, which is just 1. So we got 2y plus 1 divided by 3y plus, I got to change this denominator into 15y squared, so I got to multiply 5 times 3, so 3 over 3. Okay, so my first fraction, I got to do 5y times 2y, 5y times 1. So it's going to be 10y squared plus 5y plus, I got to do 3 times 5y and 3 times 4, so 3 times 5y is 15y plus 12. My denominator is just going to be that 15y squared. Simplify that numerator. You do have some like terms there. 5y and 15y is 20y plus 12. There's nothing to simplify here. I know that 10, 20, and 12 you could factor out of 2, but if you factor out of 2, your denominator is 15, 2/15. That doesn't reduce to anything, so just leave that as your final answer. So next up, kind of similar problem here. So your common denominator is going to be 5 and 10, so least common multiple there is 10. X squared and x, you're going to need an x squared. Always go with the higher exponent. Then you have y and y squared, so you're going to need y squared. So in my first fraction, I need to change my 5 to a 10, so I'm going to need to multiply by 2 over 2. I already have an x squared, but I got to make it a y squared, so I got to multiply my first fraction by 2y over 2y. Okay. Again, I'm trying to make this 10x squared y squared, so to turn 5 into 10, I got to multiply by 2. I already have the x squared. To change my y into y squared, I got to multiply by y. Over here, the only thing I'm missing is I need to make this an x squared. So I just got to multiply this one by x over x. So 2y times 6 is going to be 12y plus x times 5 is 5x, all divided by my 10x squared y squared. The only thing you might want to do here is put the 5x first. Really doesn't matter. And then 10x squared y squared for a final answer. Okay. So again, this 2 and 3 are kind of similar, whereas 1 and 4 will be pretty similar. But again, least common multiple as far as your coefficients go, your multiples of 5, 5, 10, 15, 20. Make sure you're going with the least common multiple, makes things easier. When you're trying to find your least common multiple with your variables, you're always, like when you're comparing x's, you're always going to go with the larger exponent will be the least common multiple. All right, last one here. So we got a trinomial. We got trinomials in both the denominators. So you want to factor these into two binomials so that we see what the denominators are made up of. So factors of 12 with a difference of 4, we're going to go x plus 2 and x minus 6. Again, that'll give me a minus 6x and a plus 2x to give me the negative 4x. Positive 2 times negative 6 will be negative 12. Factors of 24 that add up to 10. They're both either going to be negative here, but x minus 4 and x minus 6. So here's one we're going to be looking at it as what do we need in each denominator to make them the same? Here I have x plus 2, x minus 6. Here I have x minus 4 and x minus 6. So they have an x minus 6 in common, which is good. But then this one has an x plus 2, and this one has an x minus 4. So your LCM, your least common multiple, your common denominator is going to be x plus 2 times x minus 4 times x minus 6. Each denominator needs each of those, okay? So over here, I'm missing an x minus 4. Over here, I'm missing an x plus 2, so I got to multiply numerator and denominator by x plus 2. So my numerator here is we're gonna do 2x times x, get 2x squared. 2x times the negative 4 is gonna be negative 8x, plus x times x is x squared, and then 2 times x is 2x. All divided by x plus 2, x minus 4, x minus 6. All right. So I want to combine some like terms up here. I want to simplify this into a single polynomial. Oops. So we have 3x squared, 2x squared plus the 1x squared gives me 3x squared. Minus 8x plus 2x is negative 6x. My denominator, I'm just going to do that work over here. So x minus 4 times x minus 6 is going to be x squared minus 10x plus 24 from up there. I'm going to distribute the x out, x cubed minus 10x squared plus 24x plus 2x squared minus 20x plus 48. So my final answer, x cubed minus 8x squared plus 4x plus 48. So there's my final answer then for that one. All right, as always, if you have any questions, please email me. That's definitely the best way to get in touch with me. I check my email a lot more than I check Schoology. All right, have a good day.